Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Life Together video podcast. A video podcast where we'll be talking about topics as varied as life itself. Life is messy, life is beautiful, let's talk about it. I'm your host, Eric Henninger, and I'm sitting here today with Mary Joy Nelson. Mary Joy is the founder and director, correct, of the Academy for Creative Excellence in Lexington, Kentucky. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Eric.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure. So we're going to be talking today about art and about art education and art in education. I saw a meme on Facebook the other day, and I'm going to slaughter this, but we'll get the gist of it here, guys. And it said it had a picture of like a kid being talked to by like some parents or some teachers or what have you, and they were saying to the kid, "We don't understand why your test scores are so low. We cut funding to PE, to theater, to choir, to art programs, and we put more money into math tutoring and these different academic things." And I think that while humorous kind of is indicative of what happens in our education system.
Yes, I agree. I think the arts are a missing piece to children's education, and the problem is we don't really know why it works, but we do know that it does work, and there's been lots of tests that have shown that. I think what we're missing is that when we have the arts, we have a training for the whole mind, the whole brain, the person's whole self, and that allows them to connect to things like English, math, and science, and to have their own opinions and their own ideas and their own sort of drive to do those things. So I think the arts develops the person, the individual, and helps them understand who they are and what they like, and then those other subjects make sense to them, but also that it helps them use both sides of their brain, whereas a lot of subjects just use the more analytical language-based side of the brain, so they need both. Absolutely,
and like you were saying, we're not downplaying academic education at all.
Not at all.
But we're talking
those
about
things are really important,
right? Together, complementing one another to develop the whole mind and the whole person of a child.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now, where we do kind of see a lot of this happening in schools, though, funding being cut from these different programs. At ACE, you're offering programs to kids and to families to come in and to learn the arts and to be involved in the arts. Tell me a little bit about how that got started.
Okay, well that's a great question. There's lots of ways to answer that. I guess firstly, I've always loved kids, and I've always loved doing the arts with them. And I came down to Lexington from Canada, and I wanted to get a master's in voice. And so I had done some arts programming with kids in Canada, everything from VBS at church to I started a musical theater program for like a summer school for a program that does a lot of children's performing arts training, and had taught for choir camps and done children's choirs, and so that was always in my heart and in my head. And so when I came down here to do my master's, I was always talking to my teacher, who happens to be the director of the Opera Theater, Dr. Everett McCorvey, about just there needing to be more kids' art stuff. And so one day in my lesson, he said, well, let's do that. So we started a kids camp, Broadway Bound, in 2007. And that was a hit. It went very well. We sold our camps out, and so I just kept thinking about it. What does the community need? What's here? What's not here? And I became a great admirer of the School for the Creative and Performing Arts, SCAPA. Okay. But I realized that not every kid who auditions gets in because they have such a high demand for that program for students, for obvious reasons. And I think they have like the highest test scores maybe in this area or in the state, because they use the arts, what we were talking about. They do, their students are very very well-rounded. Right.
It's science, people. It's science.
So so I thought, well, what can be done for students who want this kind of training? Maybe they go to SCAPA, or maybe they don't go to SCAPA, but obviously there's a need and there's a demand for it. So that's when I proposed, in 2009, I proposed the Academy for Creative Excellence to the university, and it's a year-round training program. And they said, okay. So now now we train kids in singing, acting, dancing, film.
Awesome. Yes.
You name it.
Yeah, and I've actually had the privilege of working with ACE and with Mary
Yes.
Joy and some of our fabulous teachers over there. And it is a wonderful program, and I've watched kids, kind of come from being, kind of shy and quiet to blossoming and finding areas that they're really excited about
Yeah.
and have giftings in.
Yes.
And as an educator, it's super, super cool to watch somebody connect with something and kind of watch it come alive,
Yeah, and in them, that's the, I think that's the key is just, I think kids don't always know, what's special about them. And I think the arts really can open that up for them. Like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I'm so creative, or I'm so thoughtful, or I'm good at working with other kids, or so through the process of doing the arts, they learn their strengths and their weaknesses and learn to build each other up in both of those things.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that I've seen too, and some of the other work that I've done with teaching drama and acting and whatnot, is that a lot of times in schools we put, and again, sports is good, but we put such an emphasis and a monetary emphasis on sports programs that kids that aren't as athletic as other kids kind of feel like, well, geez, where do I fit in? I'm not an athlete. Maybe I'm not a scholar either, but where is my place? And oftentimes those kids are lost because they don't realize that where they're going to fit in, or where their abilities and their giftings lie within themselves, is in some form of art.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that you're giving kids an opportunity to find that.
Yeah, sometimes, when parents call about the program, they go, well, we tried this and that wasn't really their thing. And we tried this and that wasn't really their thing. So we're hoping that they will like this. And then a lot of times it is the right match for that student. And, whether it's a girl or a boy, once the student finds what they really like to do, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but it really lights them up, and they start to see their strengths, and it's really just exciting to see students, to see young people becoming who they're meant to be ultimately.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's certainly fulfilling.
It
as
is.
a teacher, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so you said ACE is a year-round program, and I know that the Broadway Bound that you were talking about, that kind of was the catalyst to ACE. It's not only is still going on, but you're gearing up for that.
Yes, this summer, yeah. So Broadway Bound is our summer program, and we do what's called a training camp. So in the training camp, the conservatory, they take all different kinds of classes. So they could take, this year it's an African tribal theme. So we have African drumming, African stick fighting. Yes, we will be fighting with sticks. And
where else can your kids go to play with sticks?
Different kinds of choreography. They're going to record African singing and harmonies in a studio. They're going to learn some actual songs in Zulu. So yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. And they'll do some acting classes with folk tales.
Nice.
So all of this is sort of to train and gear up for the production. The summer production is The Lion King,
which is very exciting.
We're very excited about it. Super excited. It's sort of a premiere presentation of this particular version of The Lion King, which MTI created for schools and educators to use in classrooms and in sort of school settings. But when we went to the Junior Theater Festival, we got the special privilege, because we were there and they were releasing it for licensing, that our Arts Academy got special permission to do The Lion King. So we nabbed it up. We were like, yes, we're going to do it. And so we'll do it this summer. We just did our casting, our interviews for the summer musicals, and we have 49 kids in the junior camp, the elementary camp, doing Lion King, 30-minute musical, and then we have, I think, about 30 kids doing the middle high school full 1.5 hours or so.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And so in ACE is in Broadway Bound is the only performing arts school this summer in Lexington.
This region, yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Not globally speaking. But in Lexington, Kentucky, anyway, right?
Yeah, and the licensing is limited. So right now, the only people who can license it are schools. So we got a really special opportunity, sort of a little window of opportunity for an arts academy for us to do it. So we took it. Yeah.
That is very exciting. Very exciting. Well, and to be watching for promos for that too, because one of the things that I do with Mary Joy and Ace is help them create promotional material for their shows and stuff. So be looking for that. We just did Peter Pan Jr., which was fantastic.
It was. We flew. They flew.
Like literally, they were in the air. It was amazing. It was amazing. I got to see the show 3 times, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So Lion King will be as good and even better than that. Every show I think that anybody does, it just keeps the quality keeps
going
upping.
up. Yeah, we learn from and the students learn, and so we're just all growing together. The teachers and the students and the whole tech community that's behind the kids' productions, and I know it's going to be phenomenal. There's a really strong vision to stay true to the original Broadway musical. We have hired an amazing full-time costumer. She's going to make our masks, and we're going to have the African sun. It's going to be really a stunning, it's a very visually stunning production. So we're going to engage the kids in that as well. So we'll have some visual arts this summer so that they can be a part of, painting the African patterns on their costumes and making their masks and so forth.
Very nice. So not only are we learning singing, dancing, acting, and in different production elements, but we're learning cultural things too as a result of the arts, right?
That's a huge vision of the Lion King. It actually comes as a curriculum, and it's called the Lion King Experience, and they really want the students to engage in the cultural aspects of the musical. Disney is very good at that. They're very true to the stories that they tell, and if it has some kind of a geographical connection, then Disney will make sure that the research is true, and that the stories that they tell are the real folk tales of the people groups and so forth. So I think that they do a really great job in the Lion King Experience curriculum in bringing to life, like you said, another culture and a story that everybody can really love and enjoy, but in a geographical location that's maybe a little more unfamiliar to us, where we can really explore and learn more about Africa. So
that's exciting. So no, that's what's happening this summer, and then in the fall you'll gear up again for the programs at ACE itself. Yeah. Right. And what does that look like?
For the fall. We'll open our registration on August 22nd, and then we will start classes shortly after that, and we offer a whole bunch of different classes. Sort of our first place that people usually come in, our touch point is triple threat class, and that's singing, acting, and dancing. So if you have a young student and you don't know what they like, they could try all 3 disciplines through that class, but a lot of our students train through the years in those disciplines so that they're very well rounded. They get the acting, the choreography, and the singing. And then we also have straight dance classes, straight acting classes, acting for film classes.
Yes, which is a new program.
Yes, it's budding and growing, and I can't wait till we have a youth film festival.
That will be super cool.
Yeah, because I think kids really love making movies, and I'm sure you experienced that. They love telling stories. So
that's what we did just this year. Mary Joy and I put our heads together, and we offered an acting for film class where we had 2 different classes, and in each class the kids were involved with making their own story, creating their own characters, and then I helped them film it and put it together, and so they learned a lot about what it takes in the discipline, and it's a different discipline than a stage production, but a lot of the elements are similar, and the time and the dedication that it takes and the effort that it takes, even on a small level like this, like a short film for a class. And it kind of blew some of their minds.
I'm sure. And how many times they had to repeat themselves, right? Because you have to do lots of takes in film.
Right.
Yes. So that was probably a surprise to them. Because
we just
theater,
did this, Mr. Eric. We just did this.
Perform it live, right.
Right, so, exactly. You get one shot each night in theater, and in film, it's like, that didn't work for me. Let's try it again. And but they did really good. So that's a program that we're talking about growing with ACE. and not just in numbers, but in what we're able to do. And your vision is to do like a youth film festival, which is super, super cool. So that'll be awesome. So stay in touch for that, because that'll be really cool too.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, ACE is a great program, and I've been involved with it for a couple of years now, and it's been so good for me. The teachers are great with the kids, and the kids are great too. Like, I mean, I really enjoy getting to know these kids. It's nice to know there's programs like that available. And then we were talking earlier before we actually got started. We're talking about a lot of good stuff even before we started.
We could have just turned the camera on
and just run, just let it run.
It go.
It's very informal. But we were talking about, arts education is good not only for kids kind of finding their little niche in life or a little talent. But there'll be some people that come through and love it, but don't pursue it outside, outside of that. What does this kind of training do to prepare, a young person for life outside of the arts in a normal career, if you will?
Just for their adult life. Well, I would say, I believe in the arts so much. The arts teach a lot of things that have to do with working with people. So, for example, teamwork, sort of synergistic energy, learning one another's strengths and using that to sort of bolster your group effort, I think is a really positive way that society has, created what we've created, all the amazing, it takes so many people to make a highway or build an education system or whatever. We have to all work together. And so the arts really teaches that, and also teaches just an ability to express oneself, to not be shy and to step forward and say what you really think. Also to be creative and to access creative problem solving, to access new ideas. And we live in a world now where if we don't have something, someone will invent it. If something's not efficient, someone will find a way to do it more efficiently. And it's changing every second. Right. And so when you have arts trained kids, they understand that environment because they're used to thinking on their toes, and they're used to thinking outside the box. They're used to problem solving. That's what their training teaches them. I think also, what I was alluding to earlier, but I'm going to just say in a little more detail, the arts really trains the whole brain. And so when you have, right brain and left brain, both of those need to be trained. And your left brain is that analytical side that reads and analyzes and thinks about what it's read, that does math, that does anything that's sort of concrete. And then your right brain is nonverbal, sort of shapes and problem solving and conceptualizing ideas and creativity. A lot of that happens on the right side. So when students are engaged in a drama class and they have to improvise something and they have to come up with something on the spot, that's developing that side of the brain. When they're in a music class and they have to sing intervals, which is very, it's a space between two notes, but that's not necessarily something that's super concrete. So it's developing the abstract part of the mind. And so there's so many, there's just so many benefits to the individual and also to, I think our society as children learn how to come together in a really powerful way. Yeah. I think also, the most powerful thing that I noticed at Peter Pan, for example, was the children really understood the concept of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. My dad used to always say that when we would sing together as a family. Right. That each one of us liked to sing individually as soloists, but he would, we would always feel just such a dynamic sense when we would sing as a family that it had the power to really impact our audience. And I think that, when the kids did Peter Pan, we just saw this wonderful coming together, and they understood, when we all come together and we say something and we tell a story all together, it's much more powerful than if just one of us tried to do it. Yeah. And so I think that builds a much stronger world than if we're thinking in a very individualistic sense.
Absolutely. That's good. I like that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
That's my daddy.
That's a good quote. Shout out to dads out there.
There we go. That's right. Father's Day's coming up, so it's a great time to shout out to dads.
That was good. Good tie-in. Don't forget to get your dad a card or a present and call them.
Yeah.
For heaven's sakes. Dads appreciate that stuff.
They do.
That was good. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed that you pulled that in here. That was really good. It's really good. No, it's funny too. When there's a class that I teach outside of ACE that's at a homeschool co-op, and it's a high school class. And so one of the things that we talk about with them is as human beings, the more that we understand why we do things, which is again kind of abstract concepts, the more we can understand what we're bringing into a performance as an actor.
Yeah.
And so just kind of piggybacking on what you were saying about the arts and preparing kids to engage in the society around them in whatever capacity. As we get older and are able to talk in detail about some of those more abstract things and start making us go, oh, I never thought about this and that. The more you understand about other human beings and the more you're, I think, sympathetic with their journey, and the more you're able to interact and connect with them on a level that's productive and beneficial to that person as well as to yourself.
Absolutely. I love that you just mentioned empathy, that how building empathy, through theater, because when you are doing a role, you are literally putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And so I do think that theater builds empathy. I think that music builds empathy too. I think that all of the arts build empathy. And also, I think it really helps us know ourselves, and we live in a world where there's so much access to counseling and therapy and group sessions and whatever. And I think all those things are really healthy and good. But I think that that in a really healthy, basic sense, the arts provide that ability for the self to develop, and then for the self to relate empathetically to others.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's really good. That's really good. Great. So much meaty stuff here today. Like, I'm so excited. This is good. If you're not digging on this, then you've got issues. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Great. Is there anything else you wanna talk about as it relates? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything either there.
Oh, we did good.
I think we did pretty well. I think we nailed most of it and talked about some stuff that was that wasn't in the script.
Organic.
It was very organic.
We followed the path of creativity.
Which is, there we go. Two creative people
talking.
Two
creative people.
What did you expect? That's great. Well, we're gonna in the description box below this video, we're going to have a link to the ACE website where you can go learn more about that.
That's great.
And we'll also connect you with some of the videos that ACE has done, some of their production stuff in the past, some of their promo stuff. And we're working on a new promo for ACE. So sit tight for that. That's going to happen here in the near future. And we'll make sure we share that with you guys. So if you're good, I'll sign us off.
Let's sign off.
All right, sounds good. Great, guys. So get your kids plugged in with the arts. Adults, invest in the arts. Invest in your children's lives. Get them involved. Get yourself involved in the arts. There's something enriching about going and watching a play, watching a musical, hearing people sing, hearing people act and dance. And there's just something about it that I think helps us make sense of our journey as well. So get involved. It's definitely worth the time and it's worth the investment to get involved. So guys, next week, tune in. We're going to be talking with Josiah Stendel, a young, talented filmmaker, in our Artist Spotlight for episode 3. That's right, we're moving right along. We're getting ready to go into episode 3 here. I'm very excited. All right, guys, so we'll see you then. This is Eric reminding you that life is too short to not pursue the things that you're passionate about. Thanks so much.